Congressman, good morning. Thanks for your time
Good morning.
today. What will you tell the president today at the White House?
Well, we want to tell him how serious we are about getting this debt and deficit under control and getting this economy growing. These things are related. Big deficit means more tax increases tomorrow. We have a debt crisis coming. We want to preempt the debt crisis. And we want to get serious about our fiscal situation. And in order to do that, you got to, if you want to create jobs, you got to get this fiscal situation under control. So it's really about cutting spending, balancing the budget, getting the debt on the right path, and getting job creation.
You know, on
those are the things we're talking about.
That whole idea about cutting spending, it appears to me that everybody has a number. And the numbers are in the trillions. And when it comes to cutting spending, what's your number?
Well, what we say is for every dollar the president wants to raise the debt limit, we need to cut more than $1 of spending. It's really simple. So if he wants $2 trillion in debt limit increase, we got to cut more than $2 trillion in spending. We've already offered a budget to cut $6.2 trillion in spending. So we've shown the president plenty of areas in government where we can cut spending.
All right, so this debt ceiling now went up in flames last night. I mean, the vote was overwhelming. It was 97 yes, 319 no. 82 Democrats voted Republicans on a no vote. The critics are saying it was just political theater.
No, the president and the Treasury Secretary had asked us for clean debt limit increases, and we kept telling them, you don't have the votes for that. That's not going to happen. They kept asking us, so we said, okay, fine, we'll bring it to the floor, and we'll show you that you don't have the votes for this, even among people in your own party, for a clean or a standalone debt limit increase. So if you take that vote
to the White House today, I mean, how do you work that into your argument then?
We say, look, your policy won't fly. We just proved this. Let's get back, go after spending. Spending's the cause of our problems. Spending's threatening our economy. Let's deal with real spending. And so for every dollar you want to raise the debt, we got to cut more than $1 worth of spending to get this debt on a sound trajectory, because the debt is the biggest threat to our economy, and we got to get it under control.
You know, I don't know if you heard Jay Carney yesterday at the White House, though. He says Republicans are going to raise the debt ceiling anyway. It doesn't matter about the vote last. It'll happen.
I didn't hear Jay Carney. Well, it will happen if we get the kind of spending cuts we need to get the situation under control. It won't happen. I'm serious about this. It won't happen if we don't cut spending. We just proved this last night. We couldn't pass it even if we wanted to. You got to cut spending to get the situation under control. It's hurting our economy. It's propping up interest rates in the future and tax rates. That puts a chilling effect on job creation, and we want to get this situation under control. Okay, I
want to talk about Medicare right now. Your plan's been hammered by the other side. You know, even though your plan is set up in a way where anyone age 55 or older is not affected. Now, why are points like that being lost in this public debate?
Points like that are being lost because millions of dollars of negative ads are being run to try and scare seniors and to try and confuse seniors. You know, the irony of this bill is with all this meta scare that the Democrats are running, it's Obamacare itself that ends Medicare as we know it. Obamacare takes $500 billion from Medicare, not to make it more solvent, but to spend on this other government program, Obamacare, and then it creates a new 15-panel board of unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats starting next year to price control and ration Medicare for current seniors. We stopped the raid, we stopped the rationing, we preserve the benefit for everybody above 55, but in order to do that and make its promise that has been made to these retirees, you have to reform it for our generation, your generation, my generation, so that we can have a program when we retire. And the way in which we propose to reform it is to have a system that works like the one I have as a congressman, as federal employees.
Do you find, are your colleagues still with you on this?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you sure, or are some of them getting cold feet?
I'm very confident of that. No, they're not. That's a media narrative. No, not only are members confident in moving forward, we know that this is essential to saving Medicare, getting the debt under control, keeping the promise to current seniors and stop the damage that Obamacare does to Medicare, and getting jobs created. Have to get this debt under control to create jobs. We don't think we should be messing with current seniors' Medicare, and so we do this. And why we're so confident is we know the truth will eventually get out.
Well,
I think facts are clear.
Yeah, personally, I think America's ready for the pain, and it just has to be expressed to them. And I still think that, but I wonder, and I wonder after your plan went out, we got. A week ago, you were with the former President Bill Clinton. I want to roll a clip of tape. You were caught in a candid moment. I want to ask you about that. First from last week.
I'm glad we won this race in New York, but I hope the Democrats don't use it as an excuse to do nothing.
My guess is it's going to sink into paralysis is what's going to happen. And you know the math. I mean, it's just we knew we were putting ourselves out there, but you got to start this. You got to get out there. You got to get this thing moving.
Explain the point you were making there.
It's the point I make publicly. We're leading. We know the math. He knows the math. Medicare is going bankrupt. We've got to do something to save it. And we're leading and by putting a plan on the table. And yes, we know the other side wants to use Medicare tactics. If that succeeds, then Medicare itself goes bankrupt. Then we have a debt crisis. So we're trying to fix this problem and be a part of the solution than being part of the problem. The other thing is our Medicare reform plan. It's exactly what President Clinton's Commission to Save Medicare recommended we should do in the late 90s.
Paul Ryan, thank you for your time. We'll see
Thank you, Bill.
We'll see what comes out of the White House today. The Republican from Wisconsin on the Hill. Thanks.